What's up, Madridistas, and welcome to the Managing Madrid Podcast. Kiyan Sobhani here. We got a big show lined up for you guys today. Happy international break. I know it sucks. I know that if you're anything like me, you just prefer club football. So enjoy this podcast more than you're going to be enjoying the international break. First thing is first. I went to the Cuban government on my way out, and I got my goddamn microphone back. So I'm happy to announce that. I'm also just happy to be back in my usual setup. We got our sponsors up in the back, TAC Sports. If you guys want to sign up your kids in Toronto to the best academy, whether it's soccer, basketball, swimming, they got summer camps coming up, which are just around the corner and spots are filling up. So go to tacsports.ca and sign up your kids to the best coaching in Toronto, hands down. And also, shout out to Moji Mates. If you head on over to moji-mates.com, moji-mates.com, you can get a ton of Real Madrid swag. Arda Güler, Brahim Diaz, Kylian Mbappe, Alfredo Di Stefano, Zinedine Zidane, Cristiano Ronaldo, the noodle hair included. All of those you can get on a t-shirt, on shorts, on a hoodie, on stickers, whatever you want. Moji-mates.com. Make sure you check them out. And without further ado, we're going to bring in the great Will to help us go through the Champions League bracket. Enjoy the show. Let's do it.
Nice article in the Managing Madrid blog. Wonderful lads that do a great job there. And it's worth reading about that man there. Karim Benzema needs to rest, and the numbers reveal why.
Times ended up almost looking like a 6-3-1. Some very good writing about that on the Managing Madrid website. Great podcast as well. Of course, Fede Valverde was a huge part of the equation.
What's up, Will? Will, where did you go? Will, don't do this to me. What's up, Will? How you doing? Can you hear me? Will, we lost you. Will, we can't hear you. You can hear me, but I can't hear you. All right. Well, while Will figures that out, I'm going to tee this up for you guys. Okay. I was hoping to bring in Will, and he was going to bring in some crazy energy, and he will do that, I'm sure, in a second. But what we're doing today is we're playing that game. If you guys just kind of like to fool around with the Champions League bracket, you'll know what I'm talking about. UEFA enables you kind of just to build your own simulator and go through the Champions League bracket. So we're going to do that today. We're going to predict it, everything, every single knockout round, all the way to the final, and the winner included. Barca versus Dortmund, Bayern versus Inter, PSG versus Aston Villa, Arsenal versus Real Madrid. We're going to predict all of those. I am pretty excited about this, half cautious, half optimistic. I'm optimistic about Real Madrid in the Champions League because I am every year. If you go to the round table that we do on Managing Madrid before every season starts, you guys will know that I am infamous for predicting Real Madrid will win the Champions League. And some people laugh. Some people think I'm crazy. I do it every year, and it actually pays off most years. I mean, definitely in recent history for sure. And I continue to use that prediction no matter how badly Real Madrid play. And in fact, I would actually go as far as to say the worse that Real Madrid look, the more that people write them off, the more problems there are, the more optimistic I get. And I know it's weird. It's a bit counterintuitive. It's just the way that I see Real Madrid function in this competition. Often when they are not at their best and they're doubted at their most is when they are actually, in fact, at their best. There is some kind of really good quote about that somewhere from somebody, and it's very eloquent, and it's way better than what I just said. But you guys get my riff, right? Like, you know what I'm saying. So on one hand, I'm pretty optimistic, and just to, you have your spoiler already about where I land on this Champions League bracket on our side. It'll be interesting to see what Will has. cooked up. And I think it'll be interesting for you guys to just see us maybe talk through the other games. Bayern Inter, I think, is fascinating. Barca Dortmund, pretty straightforward. But when we get to the semifinals, whether Barca have to play Bayern or Inter, I mean, that's going to be super interesting. All right, drum roll. Let's do this again. Will, what's up, buddy?
Hey bro, was that super like was that super weird that I had to do a second drum roll? Has this ever happened before? A second drum roll?
Will, we've been doing this for almost 10 years now, and the amount of glitches and problems and just awkward moments we've had in this podcast, we're so desensitized to it. Drum roll twice, drum roll 3 times, 10 times, we would have figured it out. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Perfect, bro. Yo, are you sure that mic is like not recording like your voice now for the Cuban government? Like, are you sure that's actually your mic?
I'm not sure, but if the Cuban government is tapping into this,
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoy the Champions League preview, guys.
Let's go, bro.
And I'm
And what
never
was it?
coming back to your country because of that fiasco.
Oh, yeah.
Unless Will is there.
Big fiasco.
In that case, I'll go visit Will.
Thank you, man. Big fiasco. Let's talk about the Champions League, my man.
Let's do it. So I'm very excited to see what you have cooked up for us. I'm going to share our screen so our listeners on YouTube can follow along, and see where we land on this prediction. And so we're gonna start on the opposite side of the bracket where Real Madrid are not. So we'll get to Real Madrid in a second. I want to get your thoughts on Barca Dortmund, which to me is pretty straightforward, but I wanted to see if you can play devil's advocate or we're going to just automatically put Barca on the semifinal.
Sadly, bro, honestly, sadly, I think, as you said, it's pretty straightforward. I think it's an obvious Dortmund win, right? It's pretty obvious, right? That's as straightforward as it gets. No, I think the obvious favorite here is Barcelona, and it makes sense. They already beat Dortmund at their home in the Champions League stage. They've been one of the best teams in Europe. They are the second best team in the Champions League, based on the league phase, right? I think it's an obvious Barca semifinal. But always you have to keep that 1%, right? That 1% for Dortmund, because you never know. The second leg is in Germany, so you never know what's going to happen. And we know this Barca team, even though this season has proven to not be that shaky, right? To always come back and stuff. But Dortmund can always do it in the Champions League for some reason. Like this Dortmund team was horrible last season in the league, in the Bundesliga. They reached the final. I think though it's like 99% Barca and 1% Dortmund.
That sounds about right to me. I don't trust Dortmund at all, to do
Right.
anything against Barca.
Yeah.
Now that's a different story about the semifinal, but I don't trust Dortmund at all to do anything. And look, if this was Barca of last season or 2 years ago or etc., like basically any year before this, I would have given Dortmund, even this version of Dortmund, a higher percentage than one, just because Barca were mentally shaky. I don't sense mental shakiness from them this year at all. I don't sense it. I don't see it. I think that's, you got to give credit to where it's due. This Barca team is more resilient than Barca teams of years past. They don't seem to have the choke factor, although like maybe it's coming. But they don't seem to buckle under pressure. They don't seem to panic when they go down a goal or two. And they have been good at closing games out when they're ahead. And that's not something we normally say about Barca. So I'm going to give Barca the W here. Congrats, Barcelona, on your semifinal trophy.
It is weird though, isn't it weird that we're just basing the choke goals from the past? Because honestly, it's like they don't look like they choke anymore. Isn't that crazy? Like Hansi Flick has changed this team massively. It's crazy.
It's a huge 180. It's literally a 180, I think. I was skeptical of Flick because I felt that he wasn't necessarily what they needed, because I think part of the problems that Barcelona have had in years past is that, aside from the mental fragility and all that stuff, is that there's the way they play football and their insistence of playing a certain way is just so problematic for them in Europe, in that they just are not good enough in defending in transition. Their high line gets cooked. They're not tactically versatile enough to go into deeper blocks to defend and close channels. And Hansi Flick is like notorious for playing one way without a plan B. He has to play this way. And that gives him some outrageously historic wins and also some really bad losses. But then he came in and that really didn't become a problem. Their offside trap has, it's been well documented how well that's been. There have been some teams that have been smart enough to exploit it and they've timed their runs and their finishing has been good. But he's changed the mentality of this team completely and they just look great. And obviously they have a ton of players in form. So enough Barca. We'll come back to Barca. Bayern Inter. Super interested to hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I think this is a great knockout. This is a great match, probably the greatest match on the quarterfinals. This one is a 50-50 in my opinion, brother, because at the end of the day, Inter is a great team. It's a big Champions League team. Like they've been doing Champions League. They've been performing the Champions League for a while now. They have a great coach. But Bayern, bro, like I thought Bayern was gonna get beat up by Leverkusen. Not beat up, but I thought it was gonna be a more of a fight, right? And literally, it wasn't the global score between Leverkusen and Bayern like 5-0 or something like 5-1.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff. This Bayern team is great. They do have this Real Madrid factor that their badge is a bit heavy in the Champions League. You can feel it. And like Carvajal said, if the players don't feel it, the Bayern players, the opposite team definitely feels it. The weight of the Bayern badge. I'm gonna give it to Bayern Munich. I know a lot of people's gonna give it to Inter. I think Inter and Leverkusen have like a pretty similar system. Not as similar, but they do play in a way like if we had Leverkusen versus Inter, it'd probably be like a match, right? It's interesting style, like similar styles of play. Bayern Munich still destroyed Leverkusen, so I think Bayern has the tools. They have Harry Kane, who's really good in the stages of the Champions League. I think Bayern is gonna go through.
What happens to our share screen bracket when we disagree? What do we do?
Basically, what usually happens when you disagree with a Canadian, you still go with the Canadian's opinion. Like you just have to do it.
Oh, it's usually the
So
opposite way. The Canadian's too shy and too embarrassed to start a fight. He's like, okay, sure, you win.
no, if you disagree, what usually happens, because I have this debate a lot, is I'll give you this one, but you have to give me another one in later on. So
Oh
you
shit. So I have
choose.
to decide if I want to take this one or
Yep,
risk it and then lose the better one. Okay. I'm going to I'll take this one.
perfect.
I'm going Inter.
Tell me why, my friend.
I think despite Bayern looking a little bit better this season, I just trust Inter's competence and intelligence and tactical discipline over two legs. And mind you, this hasn't been the best Inter this season. In the Champions League, they conceded just 2 goals. That's far and away the best record. Now that might normalize. It's a little bit skewed because their XGA is 9 point something. So they've overperformed that quite heavily. But over 2 legs, there's just something about them that they're just so difficult to beat. And I just think that they can frustrate the hell out of Bayern. Bayern are a team that obviously prefer space to run into. And I think Inter will be very good at throwing bodies at players like Musiala, to close the space. They're excellent in transition. I actually think I think Inter's got it. That's what I'm gonna go.
Sounds fair. Sounds good. We have a semifinal already.
We have a semifinal. Barcelona versus Inter. Do we
Interesting. You wanna go? Yeah, you wanna go to the other side of the bracket? Let's see
let's
the
do
other
it.
semifinal.
All right, let's start with this one down here. PSG Aston Villa.
Luis,
Straightforward?
yeah, I mean, is it? I think it is, but it's Dibu Martinez again against the French people, bro. It's like Dibu versus the French. It's like a love story, a hate story. Last season they knocked out. I think it was Lille. a French team, Lille, the team actually we lost to them in this Champions League, and Dibu was dancing on him again. Is he gonna dance on him this season? The second leg is in the Aston Villa Stadium. Isn't it the Villa Park or something? Uh, I honestly think PSG is one of the best teams in the competition. They should go through. They already went through the harder test in Liverpool, so it's probably like 95% PSG. And they also have a top three Ballon d'Or player in the squad. And no, it's not Mbappe. It is Ousmane Dembele. I'm sorry, Barca fans or Madrid fans. He's a top three Ballon d'Or. I think they're gonna go through PSG. Allez Paris.
So you said 95%?
Yeah, bro. I give the 5% just because Unai Emery is a competent coach, and if they do go to penalties, it's gonna be a battle of keepers, bro. Two great keepers that both do it great from the spot, and it could literally be a 50-50 in penalties. So that's why I give it's like a 95% and 5 to Aston Villa.
Well, what's interesting is you were trying to justify it, but I was actually going to suggest, literally for the reasons that you stated, I would give them more than 5%. I would give them
Well-
10 to 15 just because of again, this is 2 legs and not a league title. So Emery over 2 legs is more promising to me than Emery over 25 games. And you had the Debu factor, and what you haven't mentioned yet, one of the most under the radar in form transfer window signings, Marco Asensio, has scored 7 goals since joining them. He's playing against his former team. Does that factor in? Can we give them a 10-15% chance because of
we can.
Debu, Marco Asensio, and Emery?
Yeah, we can definitely give them a 10 or 15%. And bro, you know what? I actually forgot about Mr. Asensio.
Mm.
If that guy knows one thing, is how to be a ghost in the Premier League in the season, regular season, and just actually no. I was gonna say something false. The last time we played PSG, he was a ghost.
He was bad. I mean, I don't even think he didn't feature in the second leg. The first leg,
Right?
he was
Oh
terrible.
my god.
Yeah.
He was a ghost. Let's see what happens.
Just if we get like give Marco Asensio one shooting chance from 35 yards. Give him one moment and see what he can cook up. I have questions for you. Who would you rather face in the semifinal? PSG versus Aston Villa.
I think it's obvious. I think it's obviously Aston Villa, right? Obviously.
Yes.
Like let's
That
go for the weaker
that
opponent.
question is obvious. The more difficult question. If Real Madrid don't get to the Champions League final or don't win the Champions League this year, because I don't know where you sit on that yet, would it be better for Real Madrid fans for PSG to advance because that gives a better chance of beating Barca in the final than Arsenal or Aston Villa or Real Madrid
Bro,
potentially?
you want me to be completely honest?
Yes, absolutely.
We sound like Barca fans with this like loser mentality talk, bro.
I understand that, but that's because we've been really bad this season. I think there's a reason why we're talking like losers. I think it's a
Listen, bro.
justified reason. It's justified.
Yeah, it's justified, man. This is a loser pod today. You know what, bro? Seeing Asensio just put in one against Barca in another final. You know what, bro? Inject that to my veins, man. I would love that.
So, just to, I was talking to Leah about this yesterday. A Clasico final has the highest reward potentially, but also the lowest of lows potentially. And if you ask Barca and Real Madrid fans right now this season, like in this very moment, they are definitely more excited about a potential Clasico final than we are. Like, would you agree with that? So, and I think they're justified in their confidence, but also because of that, it would be so much sweeter to win it now.
I mean, bro, I don't necessarily agree with that. I would love a classical final. I think you will love a classical final. I mean,
Uh,
we will all be there in
I could
Munich.
potentially love a classical final, bro. I could also potentially hate it.
Right. The thing is with a classical final is big risk. Big risk, big reward. And how, bro, isn't it like super Real Madrid? If we just lost two Clásicos against them with a global score of 9-2. Yeah, we
Yeah,
got dunked on like 9 goals by Barcelona. Isn't it super Real Madrid if we get to the Copa del Rey final, they also get to the Copa del Rey final, we lose that final, we get dunked on again, then we go the second Clásico in May, we like draw that Clásico, it's like a 2-2 or something. It's like we still can't beat them. And then we just beat them in the final. Like their whole season will be just literally, it's like, what was the point of winning and beating us 4 times, 3 times, if you just lost the correct one? On the other side of the thing is, what if they beat us like in every single Clásico this season? If we have like 4 or 5 Clásicos and they beat us in every single one of them, that'd be sad. Um, but I want a Clásico final. But let's see if that happens. We haven't. What
it
if
may not
Arsenal goes
happen.
through, bro? Yeah, what if Arsenal goes through?
Yeah, it may not happen because we are very definitive and authoritative bracket may not see that happen. Um, I agree with you, by the way. It would be a very Real Madrid thing to do to lose all the Clásicos heading into the final and then win the Champions League final. That would be a very Real Madrid thing to do. All right, so let's do it. So are we both in agreement PSG is going to advance?
Yeah, PSG is going through.
All right. So now this is the moment where everyone's been tuning in for because no one really cared about anything we've had to say up until now. Real Madrid versus Arsenal. What are we doing here?
Okay, so I think. Let me know. Let me know. Obviously your thoughts. I think Real
Imagine if we
Madrid.
just eliminated Real Madrid right now, like it just ends here, and then everyone's like, "Oh man, that podcast sucked." Like it just ends
Yeah,
here. We can't even. We literally can't do that because the script wouldn't be good. But let's see.
yeah. It wouldn't be a good script, but I think Real Madrid obviously has the talent, has the team, has the. It's honestly, bro. It's looking like Real Madrid is going through anyway to the semifinals. The second
Yeah,
leg is at the Bernabeu. Arsenal are lacking like a lot of horsepower, a lot of creativeness. Without Saka, he's not playing the first leg. They've been looking a bit weak. Mikel Merino is their 9, the guy
yeah.
that played midfield for Real Sociedad last season. They have good youngsters, but Real Madrid should go through easily. I don't see Arsenal beating us in any of the legs, right? Not at their homes and not in Bernabeu. I don't think it's gonna be easy, but we should go through. The harder test here, it was Atleti. We went through that. It's time to go to the semifinal again, bro. I saw a stat from Ancelotti. He literally out of 17 knockout uh matches with Real Madrid, he's won 15. He's every time
Wow.
he's been a Real Madrid coach, like for every year, he's always reached the semifinal. Isn't that crazy? Like he has another semifinal in his hands and another
Yeah.
knockout like game to win. Isn't that crazy?
I think that is crazy and it's insanely impressive. And another thing that I think often gets overlooked is that it's obviously not as impressive as winning five Champions League titles in the last, 10 years or whatever it is. But just the fact that Real Madrid have gotten to 13 semifinals in the last 15 years is almost as impressive as a stat to me than winning it as many times as they've done. Because that kind of consistency against the best teams in the world over 15 years is absolutely ridiculous. Like it's a stat that isn't talked about enough. Um I agree with you that Atletico was the biggest test in the knockouts. I think you could even argue that Arsenal might be a better team than Atletico overall this season. Their defensive record is insanely good. They're more tactically versatile than Atletico. But I think Atletico are the worst matchup for us specifically. And
Uh,
we got that out of the way. They've been kind of making this no nine thing work because of those Havertz and Gabi Jesus injuries. Merino false nine thing is kind of working. Their set pieces are insanely good. They're pretty good in the build up phase. I think we got it. I think you think we got it. I think the
Yeah,
fans
bro.
think we got it.
No.
Bye bye, Arsenal.
I think, bro, honestly, talking a bit more about Real Madrid, I think what separates Madrid from the rest of the teams in this Champions League is just their talent up front, man. It's just too much talent. It's just too stacked. Like you can't really, it's hard to beat that, bro. Like it's people say, no, for you to eliminate Real Madrid, for you to beat Real Madrid in the Champions League, you have to score five, six, 7 goals on them. The reason why that's true is not because Real Madrid have this insane team that you need to score 10 goals against them. No, it's because we have so much talent up front that we're gonna score on you. Like that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And if it's not happening, like for example against Atleti, it didn't happen. We still have the talent to just on the penalties to just go and beat them. And we have Courtois. It's just an insane squad. And we do not have like a tactical mastermind in Ancelotti. We have a lot of structural problems. But the talent, bro, the is the assemble, right? It's like the Avengers up there. Mbappe, Vini, Bellingham, Rodrigo. It's just too much talent. But how can you keep that away from your goal? It's impossible. And Arsenal have a great defense, and I think their biggest threat is their set piece stuff. But it was like the last time they scored set piece goals. I think it was last weekend. They had like a drought. They like that goal was their first set piece goal since like January or something like that. It was like a month or something. And we're
But
weak on set
the funny
pieces.
thing is that I mean that sounds bad, but also like most teams don't even score set pieces at all. So like,
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and we're bad at set pieces, at defending them. So that's gonna be interesting. Still, we have too much talent up front, bro. It's difficult for any team against Madrid.
the firepower is big, the individual talent is big, and I would say it's also great that Camavinga and Tchouaméni are looking better now.
Yeah.
So no brainer. Real Madrid PSG semifinal. Let's flip back to this side. I have a feeling I know exactly how this conversation and the prediction is going to go, but let's hear it. Barca versus Inter in the semifinal.
Listen, bro. I think we will be called haters if we go against Barcelona in this time. If we say Inter goes through, we literally have no argument other than we're just haters and thinking about goals from the past. This Barca team, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a culé. I'm a hater, actually. I'm literally a hater. Like, I hate those guys. I have to talk with them every day. I hate them with my heart, with a passion. But they are currently one of the best teams in the world. We can't ignore that. They are one of the best teams in the Champions League. We can't ignore that. They should beat Inter. Bro, we talk about our firepower. They also have very good firepower. They have the top scorer in the Champions League. Rafinha has 11 goals. They have Lewandowski. They have Yamal. They have Pedri, who's doing great stuff. Like literally, bro. I would love to say Inter goes through and slaps them up. I can't. I think Barcelona is in the final, bro.
I have a different point of view, but it doesn't matter because it's your turn to pick the winner. I have Inter going through here.
Okay, but why though? Listen, the
The,
second leg is in Milan. But why? Why do you think that is gonna happen?
the exact reasons why I had them over Bayern. I also think the teams that Barca struggle with are the ones that are just they just don't like the I don't know how to word this. There are competent tactical teams and there are incompetent tactical teams. And Inter are about as competent as it gets. They're just so intelligent in knowing how to close space. And their transition attacks, they don't really shit the bed like other teams do. And this is more of a general point because, again, I know that Inter are not at their best this year. But in the Champions League, they have conceded 2 goals. I'll re-emphasize that. And I think the combination of their defensive ability, their collective tactical awareness, and how good they can attack in transition. And probably Inzaghi is pumping it into their brain. Maybe not now because the semifinal hasn't, but for sure before that game, he's just going to be going over it a million times. Time your runs. look at that space. There's literally an entire half of space. Play through the pressure. You're going to get 5 breakaways per game. 10 breakaways total. We convert 30% of those. That's 3 goals. And then we'll set up shop for the rest of it, and then we'll hit them again when the game opens up, because they have no choice but to push bodies forward. I'm going with Inter. But like I said, doesn't matter. It's your turn to disagree. We got to go with
I
you.
get it, bro.
And because it's a better script to have a Classico final for this podcast.
Are you saying Managing Madrid is scripted, bro? Is this a scripted podcast?
You with those sunglasses on, you're looking awfully like a Matrix character, like talking about how this is all scripted. So,
Bro, you know what? I think Barca is also a really competent tactical team. I think
I
it's
agree.
true. Inter's gonna have their chances, but so will Barcelona, bro. Like Barcelona is a team that's averaging like 3 goals per game this season. It's like I hate to talk about Barcelona this way, bro. I hate them. Believe me, guys. I really hate this club. But I think they're gonna go to the final. It's my turn anyways. So honestly, it's irrelevant what you say, bro.
It is.
I think Barca is in the final, man.
Here we go. Barca's in the final. You heard it here first. Let's flip it to our side of the bracket. The other semifinal, Real Madrid versus PSG.
Hard game, tough game, crazy game. Let's see what Mbappe is made of, bro.
You know what's funny? You just mentioned that, and I just thought of this now. I don't know why it didn't come to my mind earlier, but when Mbappe turned us down 2 years ago, I thought to myself, man, the next Real Madrid PSG game is going to be spicy. The Bernabeu is going to give Mbappe hell. But little did I know that the next Real Madrid PSG game would come at a time when actually Mbappe is a Real Madrid player. Now the script is flipped, and it's going to be the PSG ultras who are going to give him hell, and let's see how he responds to that atmosphere. But beating Lucho would be ultra sweet. Beating PSG, or as QSG, as Diego would put it, the only thing that Diego and I are united on is our hate for PSG. It's going to be difficult. Ironically, this is the best PSG in years.
Yes.
Maybe since that team that actually got to the final. It seems more balanced. He's got everyone buying into what he wants to do. It kind of flies under the radar without superstars the way Lucho likes it, although Dembele is playing like a superstar. Their midfield looks amazing with Vitinha and Neves. They just look great. Kvara, man, new signing Kvara. Like they just got a lot of good pieces. I have us going through for the
I
script.
think this is gonna be fun. Yeah, I think this is gonna be fun. I think, bro, I think Luis Enrique is just gonna feed them with that hatred, right? It's gonna be like, yo, these guys think they can beat everyone. They can just win every Champions League. Let's beat them up. Let's demonstrate them who's the better team. I know Luis Enrique is gonna do that. Um, it's gonna be tough, bro. Honestly, super tough. Like this team. I think probably in this tie we're gonna see another Courtois masterclass, bro. I think Courtois is gonna save our ass, honestly, because they're gonna have a lot of chances. I think though we go through, and guys, the reason we have a classical final in this bracket, even though probably if this was a Kiyan solo pod, it wouldn't be a classical final. The thing, the thing I believe, like why the reason why I think we're gonna have a classical final is literally, bro, they're the two best teams in this Champions League. I know you can maybe argue PSG is better than Madrid or PSG is better than Barca or something. In this competition, you basically cannot argue against Madrid. The last time we got eliminated from the Champions League was against City, right? In the Etihad in the 22-23 season. When we got beat up in the Etihad 4-0. That's what it takes. Literally, that's what it takes, guys. Before that, the last time Madrid was eliminated from the Champions League, we got beat up by Tuchel's Chelsea. It was like like 4 something. I don't remember, but we felt like it was like 5-0. That's what it takes. You have to beat them up. You have to beat us up. And like Mbappe, Vini, Bellingham, bro, Rodrigo is just too much. It's too much talent. I can't see how we don't score 2 or 3 goals. And if we have Valverde at right back, like we're secure in that spot. Asensio is playing like Asensio has demonstrated, like he can play these type of matches, semifinals. Um, and Chouameni now at a better level. This team is looking good, bro. I think we're gonna have a classical final.
I think I agree with you with that. Real Madrid and Barcelona are the two best teams in the Champions League, but I think that's based on the ceiling that we could see in a single game, and not based on form.
Of
So if we're talking
course.
about like the teams that can do the most damage to anyone at any given moment, it's probably Real Madrid and Barcelona. Barcelona, unlike us, are having a very good season performance-wise, and we are not. Like it's we don't necessarily look as good as PSG or even Arsenal, but
All right.
we have more firepower and more pedigree, and I think that's what puts us in the conversation. So
We
you
do.
and I are both going for a Clasico final in this situation. I mean, again,
And it's gonna be beautiful
if
or
you're saying it's
horrible.
going to be beautiful, that means you have Real Madrid as the winner.
I honestly think, bro, it's this final is a 50-50, and it's gonna be tense, and it's gonna be cinema, and hopefully it's a classical final. Uh, but it's gonna be tense because it's a battle. Like it's probably one of the greatest stories if this happens. One of the greatest stories to ever that we ever witnessed in the sport. Um, Not only because of the tie, which already has a lot of history, but the present, bro. Both teams. Lamine Yamal saying like twice in to the press, to the media, saying like, yeah, we can beat them up. Like we are obviously a better team than them. We're the team that does the most damage to them. Like we can beat them up. Then on the other side, you have Dini and Mbappe fighting for the Ballon d'Or, uh, fighting for who's the best team in the world. And Mbappe, who had a horrible first like few months, and now he could be winning the Champions League with his first season, just like Holland did with City. It's beautiful. I won this classical final. Is in Munich, a beautiful stadium. I honestly think this final is 50-50. I don't know what happens. My heart goes with Madrid. My head also says it's gonna be tough because Lamine Yamal is right in a way. They are the team that have damaged us the most. They know how to like beat us up if they want to. I still think in a Champions League final, like most of our players already basically every single one of the starting 11s.
Will cut out. I think I think the Cuban government cut Will out. So until Will comes back, let me just say my thing. Will said 50-50 in the context of a Champions League final, Real Madrid versus Barcelona. And obviously within the context of this season. Because this what I'm about to say is applicable to this season and not a general point. If it was a general point, Will is back. Within
Hello,
the
can you hear me?
context, yeah, I can. Uh, Will, I was just saying that you mentioned 50-50. I would give Real
Yeah.
I would give Real Madrid 51-49 in this context.
51-49. You think so?
Yeah, because what balances out the fact that Barcelona have been better. Barcelona have steamrolled Real Madrid so far in the individual games, in the individual matchups. What might balance it is just that it's a Champions League final, and this is what Real Madrid do. Um, and if there was a single game where they would just get it together against Barca, it would
Right.
be that.
Right. And
How
it's like
many?
well as
This is a
so-
legitimate
sorry.
question I don't know the answer to off the top of my head. How many current Barcelona players have won the Champions League before?
Lewandowski and Ter Stegen.
And then Flick, obviously.
And then Flick.
And is that it?
Yeah,
Must be.
that's it.
You knew the answer to that right away. You must have known. I
I
trust you.
hate Barca, bro.
Um,
To know.
almost everyone in this team has been to a Champions League final. Almost? Is it actually everyone?
Literally, bro. Like yes, and actually the
Even
whole starting
Mbappe.
11. Yeah, the whole starting 11. The only exception in the starting 11 is Asensio and Mbappe, but they've all won the
Right.
Champions League last year, bro.
Yeah. That's what would tip it for me.
Yeah, me too. I agree. It's 51-49. Um, but it's also tough, bro, because we can't ignore, and I know like sometimes it's hard not to do it, but we can't ignore that the two games we've played against them this season, we've gotten beat up. And the second game, it looked like Ancelotti didn't learn anything from the first game. What's gonna happen in the third game? Are we gonna see them in May? Are we gonna see them in the Copa del Rey final? These both of these matches will be before the Champions League final. What's gonna happen then? It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be it's gonna be fun. I don't know. And also, we just put this bracket and as with Real Madrid winning the Champions League. What's gonna happen after that? Is Ancelotti staying another season? It's gonna be crazy.
How do
Who
UEFA
wins?
needs to put like a next, like when you press continue here, it takes you to
Yeah,
another bracket that's like
yeah,
Ancelotti or Xabi Alonso, and it just keeps
right.
going.
See, it's interesting to see what's gonna happen this year. What's gonna happen with the Clubs World Cup? It's interesting. Does this match defines the Ballon d'Or winner? If Barca wins it, is Yamal? Is Rafinha a Ballon d'Or winner now? If Madrid wins it with another Vini goal in the final, are you gonna give it to Vini? Is it gonna be Mbappe? It's gonna be tough. It's a great match, and this match defines everything, bro. Because we can always say we have 15 Champions League, and they can say, yeah, well, we beat you up in the final. This
Oh,
happens in Argentina
the 15
with
Champions League titles already means nothing to them because
right,
they just have other trophies they pull out of their pocket. So
right.
that will never change for them. Um, but and trophies in air quotes, by the way. You mentioned the two big losses we've had against them this season. Obviously, we have to play them at least one more time, possibly three more times. Um, I guess I would like to just close this podcast with a story. In the 1999-2000 season, Real Madrid played Bayern Munich twice in the group stage and got absolutely annihilated. They lost 4-1 in Munich and then 4-2 at the Bernabeu, 8-3 over two games in the group stages. And it felt like 20-3, not 8-3. It was not even close. And then you fast forward and Real Madrid had to play Bayern Munich in the Champions League semifinals that same year. And they beat them. They eliminated them. And that's what
Crazy
Real
club.
Madrid DNA is. That's what they do. And so
Crazy
you
club.
have to factor in the fact that with Real Madrid, basically they can flip switches and everything that happened in the season means nothing. And then all of a sudden they get the job done. So
This is a crazy club, bro. That story is crazy. I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
crazy.
crazy things
And
happen here, as Peter Drury says.
and to imagine, bro, like most of our starting 11 was born around that year. Like how is it possible? How can they do it? I don't know. This club is crazy. I
What
guess we're crazy too.
Yeah, we're crazy too. And just to make it even more delusional, Will, what do you think of
Cuban government.
I actually am very curious to know your opinion on that, but maybe we can save it for later. We've never won the treble before. By the way, oh, it should be noted, there's never been a Clasico final before, and there are
Yeah.
so many times that we've come so close. One time where both of us were in the semifinal, and Barca lost to Valencia. Wouldn't it be so funny that the year we finally win it, the treble, is like the year where we have no business winning it? Like we just don't look good at all.
Bro, if we win the treble, I might just have to buy the whole entire emoji mates website and just like sleep on that for a week. And I don't know what's gonna happen, bro. I don't think it's happening. Let's be honest, man. It's not happening.
I have a better one. Remember what we said? If Arda Güler wins the Ballon d'Or, we're gonna go to Turkey and get hair transplants.
Oh yeah.
If we win the treble, you and I are gonna go to Turkey and get hair transplants.
If we win the treble, not only we're gonna go to Turkey and get hair transplants, It's gonna be for the whole Managing Madrid squad. For Matt, for Lucas, for now.
Matt definitely doesn't need it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Hopefully, but it's not happening, guys. Let's just pray we beat Barcelona in the Champions League final, because that is gonna happen. We do have a Clásico final in our hands. It's about time. Enjoy it. It's
All
gonna
right,
happen.
appreciate you guys tuning in. Will and I will be back regularly moving forward. Enjoy the international break. Keep it locked on managingmadrid.com. Appreciate you guys. Hala Madrid and peace out.